Hey,
How are you?
I'm quite well. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Great.
Don't be heavy,
Okay.
but also really funny.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how and why there was a decision to balance it with that sort of comedic humor?
Because I think you need it, right? Like, if you're going through a show that's so intense, like Dope Thief, where you've got, violence and drugs and all these things, there is truly humor in that to me. And I try to find that in almost everything that I do because as humans, it's what we do, right? So a lot of that is a testimony to Peter Craig, our writer, as well, because his brain is so remarkable. He is always good at finding the darkness in human beings, but also finding the lightheartedness at the same time. And he and I both felt that, this show, because of the content, it needed to have that kind of levity. You know what I mean? Like, some of the scenarios are just absolutely outrageous that it's like, you gotta find some humor in that. And I felt like that was a big part of who Ray is as well.
Mm-hmm. And can we talk a bit about the dynamic in the relationship
Sure.
between Ray and Manny? Because that's obviously a big part of the show.
Yeah.
What was it like working with your co-star?
Like, Wagner Moura, man, I mean, I could speak for days about this man. Like, he means so much to me personally. And I think you need that in a story like this between two friends, because we approached it not as a buddy thing. We approached it as a love story, truly. You have these two characters who have been incarcerated since they were 15 years old. They were basically all each other had most of their lives. And now you see them spit out into the world with whatever kind of freedom the system has given them. And they're just trying to figure out how to survive. But also there's this weird kind of schizophrenic codependency that's happened between the two of them, you know what I mean? So even in there, there's humor. And I don't know, like, what was really amazing working with Wagner is that we really liked to test the boundaries of proximity. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the show over the course of the episodes, you realize that there's always like that much space between them, or they're always enclosed in things, and they're always like very close. And I was like, oh, I think that's because that's how they know each other. Yeah. They've been in jail and been in prison and have always been in close proximity. That's exactly what it is. And so I think proximity like that brings tenderness. There's no place to be sensitive. Your spit's on me, your sweat's on me, your tears are on me, like all the fluids are shared. And there's something beautiful about that, I think. Especially when they're going through such high octane situations like what they're going through in Dope Thief. And Wagner was game for it. Like, even in between takes, we were up underneath each other. Like, there would be times I'd be like, "Can I just put my head on your shoulder, man? Is it okay?" Like, or like and you need that in order to feel that rawness of who Ray and Manny are.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a show that evokes that kind of closeness, and I think if you two weren't probably so close off camera as you were on camera, it wouldn't have had the same sentiment to it.
Sure, I agree.
And can we also touch, I guess, on Teresa?
Oh, yes.
So you obviously have closeness with that character as well.
Yeah.
How was that? Because obviously
Kate Mulgrew brought so much. Like, Kate Mulgrew, first and foremost, is a legend. And so, I mean, and I found myself studying her a lot, like, but I just remember thinking, here I am, this black man with this white mother, and that's all I know her as. I always refer to her as Mom.
Yeah.
And at one point, I remember looking at the pilot of the first episode when I first entered the house, and I'd scare her or do whatever, and I'd roll up behind her and I'd kiss her on her head. I was like, oh, does it look like we're dating? Like, it's like at one point, it's like, are they gonna think we're dating? But it's that kind of comfortability, right? Like, it's that, because I just try to think about the relationship I have with my mother, you know what I mean? And how I just had as her only son, like, that proximity again. Like, there was never a moment that I was ever worried about showing affection or like rolling up with her, scaring her, or, and then the concept of losing her as well, because that's something that's also motivating Ray, is like, what do I do without this woman? And so Kate and I just spent a lot of time truly just exploring what that affection feels like. Like, even to this day, I only call her Mom. Like, she's in my phone as Mom. And she only refers to me as son, you know what I mean? And it has to feel that real, because then you're looking at this dynamic between this white woman who was raising this black boy from the minute he was like, 10 years old, 8, 10 years old, and truly loving him. Like at the end of the day, like she truly, truly, truly loves him. Not compromising at all who she is and where she's from, and making sure that she's nurturing those parts of me. But also at the same time calling me a shitbird, like at the same time. So I owe a huge amount of gratitude to Kate for the love that she brought on set every day.
And I think as well, there's just so many strong women across the cast in general.
And like absolutely
everyone
agree.
Brings like everything.
I absolutely agree.
In every single scene that they're in.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I love that for women in general.
Me too.
And I just also wanted to touch on, I've got so many questions there. Ray always returns to music and film throughout the series. What did you turn to on set whilst filming?
A lot of that is a reflection of me as well, because like I am a huge film geek, and also truly that term "music soothes a savage beast" is about me. I mean, honestly, like I feel like music, especially now with the playlist that we can make, it's like somebody peering into your diary, right? Like so for me to share my music, it gives me an opportunity to share the innermost parts of myself, from the most chill to the most crazy, but it's an experience, right? And so I feel like that was reflecting in Ray as well, like when he didn't have the words to say what he was feeling, or when he couldn't figure out how to find any kind of solace, the music helped him. And I also feel like music is best when it's passed down, right? So like I feel like you saw him, those records that he's playing were probably his father's, which is what happened to me. Like when I lost my father, I inherited his 600 vinyls, and I'm learning so much about myself and who he was by playing his music and realizing that we shared the same stuff without even knowing it. And that is heartbreaking, but also it also just, I don't know, it feels very therapeutic, and it feels more like love, because it's like, oh, it was so ingrained in me to begin with, and I didn't even know that it was sitting here within these vinyls, that we shared that so deeply. So I felt like that was a big part of who Ray was as well.
Amazing, thank you so much. So we have time for.
All right, well, glad we had time at all. That's wonderful. Thank you.